Power of the Primes had some figure listings that started showing up in Toys R Us's computer database. Some Toys R Us employees started showing us these listings of different stuff that's going to be possibly be coming out as future waves that we have not been aware of up to this point. Some of this stuff we do know through little things here and there. Some stuff we don't know. So I'm just going to go through this slowly just so we could reiterate what we know and what we don't know, and what is being shown here of possible known figures and not known figures. So of the Prime Masters one, some new faces here are starting to show up here. They say Wave 2, there's going to be a Catilla. Catilla, for people who don't know, was one of the animal pretenders back in the day. The rumor that I read online is this is going to be Alchemist Prime's pretender shell, whatever, decoy armor, and it's going to be a repaint of the Submarauder body. The source of where this is confirmed is unknown at the moment, but this is what I'm reading online right now.
Okay.
Also in Wave 2 will be Landmine with Alpha Trion, which we already know. Then there's going to be a Wave 3, and Wave 3 is really interesting because it's going to have a Bludgeon with Quintus, a Bomb Burst with Megatronus, and a Octo Punch with Solus Prime. This is really cool because that means hopefully we're going to be getting a brand new unique mold for each one of these, because Bludgeon is a very key Pretender Shell character, and Bomb Burst and Octo Punch are two also very unique designs, and I really hope that they get their own unique Pretender Shells. When we go into the Legends class now, Wave 2 has what has here is Tailgate for the Legend scale, and that's clearly going to be a Windcharger repaint retool. That's probably a given. The next two that are interesting is we have Duocon Battle and Duocon Speed T. Now these are listed as cutoff names. There has been other listings that actually have them as Duocon Battle Clash and Duocon Road Trap. I'm assuming that this Battle Clash and Road Trap are two separate entities that combine to make Battle Trap the Duocon character. Duocons back in the day were sold as a pair together, which were two vehicles that combined to make a robot, but those individual vehicles didn't have their own individual robot modes.
Right.
So I think that this is a chance to now give a Duocon that actually does have individual robot modes, and they combine to make a robot, I guess, more a la Super Link. I don't know. It's one of many examples of two robots that make one. So that's my assumption of what it could be. I could be wrong, but it really makes sense considering the names of the characters, Battle Clash and Road Trap, could make Battle Trap. It really makes sense. Then Wave 3 has Cindersaur, again, one of the old G1 characters that was a Spark bot, if you will. It's not listed what the mold is that is used for this, or if it's a unique mold, but if it is a repaint, I think it might be a repaint of the brand new Dinobot Slash, the female Dinobot character.
Oh, okay. Try to make use of that mold then, basically.
Yeah, I think that they're probably going to get mileage out of that. And the same thing, the other wave mate of this legend for Wave 3, Outback, is clearly a repaint of the Brawn that we just got recently from Titan's Return. So I think that's going to be, and I hope that's a retool, not just a repaint. I hope it actually has Outback's visor and his gun, because Outback, what was unique about him was he was one of the few mini-bot toys from Generation 1 that actually had his own accessory, where 99% of the mini-bots didn't have weapons. So
was
if you got them
for that, or just so
it's grounded in their Diaclone / Microman origins,
okay.
more so Microman, because they were just these little cheap Penny Racer Chrono Q designs, where Outback, because he came later and he clearly was a Hasbro design or a Takara design, like straight up made for Transformers, they're just like, hey, why don't we do something a little different?
Okay.
Give him a gun that he could hold on his back. Then, of course, the deluxes are nothing that we don't already know, like Snarl, Sludge, Darkwing, Ripper Snapper, Moonracer. Wave 3 has Cutthroat, Blot, and Sinner Twin, all stuff we knew that was coming. For Wave 4 of the deluxes, we do have now what they will call, because we knew that Firestar was coming in some shape or form. We do know that she's now going to be called Nova Star, according to this listing. which is interesting because up to a point she was actually using the registered name of Flare Up. So I guess they lost the name Flare Up and now they're going with Nova Star. For the Voyagers, Hunger and Elita 1 we already knew, and for Wave 3 of the Voyagers, Inferno we already knew. For the leader classes, Wave 2 we have Evolution, Rodimus, Unicronus, which already has showed up in the Toys R Us Canada listings. So we already kind of knew the full name of that. And Wave 3, the fan vote Optimus Primal character, currently listed as Evolution Optimus Primal, which will also be the leader class. So some interesting, some stuff we didn't know, some stuff we already knew. Again, the interesting of it being a lot of the stuff that's repaints, what will probably be repaints of pre-existing stuff, like the Cindersaur, the Outback, my assumption of the dual cons and how it's going to be handled. You have to buy them separately and they'll combine together to make something from the Legends class. The Tailgate also. Of this, again, I'm excited about all of those Prime Masters and those Pretender shells, specifically the Bludgeon. Interesting that Bludgeon comes with Quintus and Bomb Burst comes with Megatronus. There seems to be no major connection from the characters that these Pretender shells are to the original 13 because nothing about Octo Punch really links to Solus. If anything, Octo Punch, that was like a squid / deep sea diver thing, would have probably went well with Quintus.
Oh, okay.
Because of a Quintesson thing.
Yeah.
But you know, I guess that's too obvious. So they put it with Solus instead, the first female of the primes. And considering there never was a female Pretender ever, unless you go all the way to the Michael Bay movies, if you want to loosely call Alice, a Pretender. But that's about it. So there is no female Pretender that you could have tied Solus to. So I guess they're just like, well, put it with Octo Punch. You know, I don't know, but it's an interesting list. Anything you want to comment on before we move on? It's just something that I just wanted to touch on because it was a leaked piece of information from Toys R Us's databases, and it's worth bringing up because it gives us a little bird's eye view of what's going to be happening with the line in the future that we don't know yet.
No, not really. Just you know, we got more info and we have a better idea of when these guys are coming out. So that's always pretty good if you kind of just plan out what you want to buy right now, you know?
No, totally. And like as Wendell said also, on top of that, the listing, it also has codes. It has what's the word I'm looking for? UPC codes.
Yeah.
So and assortment codes. So if you ever want, like if you could find it online. It's everywhere. It's in the news and stuff. Specifically, the source that we're using is Sabertron.com. Although TFW 2005 will also have this list, and it has the UPC code. So if you ever are one of those people that just want to call into Toys R Us and give them the code, and they'll be able to find it in their database, they are available.
They don't act weird when you call them and ask them that kind of info?
It's, you know what, if you have someone who's actually willing to check the computer, and they're able to check their database, they're able to tell you if they have it on the floor sometimes.
Oh, okay, cool.
Sometimes. Not always works, but if you have a good employee that actually cares, they will. But it's good because at least it gives it. And same thing, the assortment codes gives you a good idea, too, of what's to come.